Okay, so here's a photograph from our collection, and I just want you to start by listing everything you notice about it.
Fabulous hats.
Two women in the foreground and many, many more women behind them.
The name Emma Lazarus definitely brings back other forms of activism besides civil rights.
Yeah, there's a large banner that says March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. So, yeah, it seems clear that we're talking about civil rights here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second part says Emma Lazarus Federation of Jewish Women's Clubs.
What about observations you can make about like what they're doing or who these people are?
I was just thinking that based on sort of the way they're dressed, the pearls and the hats and the dresses, I imagine these are sort of upper middle class women, and they're all sitting on the ground. So I imagine they're at some sort of protest or a rally.
Yeah, it looks like a rally. They're on the grass. Clearly, they're not in the middle of marching, but that seems to have happened or about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of other banners visible in the background, well, at least two. You can see one older woman holding the sign, well, two actually holding the sign. I think there's only white people in this picture.
Except if you look in the background, like the way background on either side of the banner, there are some people of color, but for the most part, the photograph is definitely dominated by these women.
Some of them are wearing buttons. They seem relatively organized.
You said before that they definitely seemed organized. What makes you say that?
The professional-looking banners and the presence of multiple banners. And there's a lot of women wearing buttons, not just in the foreground, but all over. Tiny figures in the background are visibly wearing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And then, are there any aspects of the picture or things going on here that you can't identify or maybe don't understand that you have questions about?
I have questions about location. There's no buildings visible, so it's impossible for me, as someone who hasn't seen the photograph, to tell really where they are. I'm again going to assume they're in Washington, but that's an assumption based on the sign, not based on any kind of architecture or landmark.
And I'm very curious to know what the other banners say. I wonder if they're also Jewish organizations, if they're also women's organizations, or if they're just other organizations in support of the March on Washington.
Awesome.